Welcome back to a chapter day. Happy Friday. Yay! We made it safely through another week. God has been gracious. He has blessed. And for those of you who may have had a rough week, hey, the Sabbath is coming up in a few hours. The sun's going to set, and that's your time to rest. Take it. God said, take it. So let's do so. Okay. We are going to be reading 2chronicles chapter 35 today. We are nearing the close of 2chronicles. One more to go after today. And yes, well, I didn't read yesterday, but the last day, which was day before, we read about Josiah, how he walked in God's ways and wanted to do what was right in God's sight, cleaned up the temple, broke down all the altars and places of idolatry. And then they found this book in the temple. And when it was read to him, he realized that they were not observing God's laws. And he called the people together and he proclaimed that from thence on they were going to follow God's laws. And God honored him for that. And let's see what more happens. Okay, chapter 35. Moreover, Josiah kept a Passover unto the Lord in Jerusalem, and they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. And he set the priests in their charges and encouraged them to the service of the house of the Lord, and said unto the Levites that taught all Israel, which were holy unto the Lord, put the holy ark in the house which Solomon the son of David, king of Israel, did build. It shall not be a burden upon your shoulders. Serve now the Lord your God and his people Israel. Remember when they came out of Egypt, and God instructed Moses, the first time they had the ark, the priests carried the ark on their shoulders. But now Josiah, I'm not sure, I think it was placed in the temple before. I don't think they were supposed to be carrying it still, but I guess for custom's sake, maybe they were. But Josiah is commanding them now that they don't carry it on their shoulders, they leave it in the temple. Verse 4, and prepare yourselves by the houses of your fathers after your courses, according to the writing of David king of Israel, and according to the writing of Solomon his son, and stand in the holy place according to the divisions of the families of the fathers of your brethren, the people, and after the division of the families of the Levites. So they are about to keep the Passover. I know previously we read, and I can't remember which king it was, who reinstated the Passover after a while because the people were not keeping it prior because of the idolatry of some of their leaders. So Josiah is trying to keep it up, and let's see what happens. Okay, verse 6. So kill the Passover and sanctify yourselves and prepare your brethren that they may do according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Moses. And Josiah gave to the people of the flock lambs and kids, all for the Passover offerings, for all that were present to the number of 30,000 and 3,000 bullocks. These were of the king's substance. And his princes gave willingly unto the people, to the priests and to the Levites, Hilkiah and Zechariah and Jehiel, rulers of the house of God, gave unto the priests for the Passover offerings 2,600 small cattle and 300 oxen. They did not spare anything when it came to offering sacrifices to God. Hundreds and thousands of animals were sacrificed. Aren't we glad we don't have to do that today? Oh my God, I don't think we would have enough animals anyway. Verse 9, Conaniah also and Shemaiah and Nethaneel his brethren and Hashabiah and Jael and Jozabad, chief of the Levites, gave unto the Levites for Passover offerings 5,000 small cattle and 500 oxen. So the service was prepared, and the priests stood in their place, and the Levites in their courses, according to the king's commandment. And they killed the Passover, and the priests sprinkled the blood from their hands, and the Levites flayed them. And they removed the burnt offerings that they might give according to the divisions of the families of the people, to offer unto the Lord, as it is written in the book of Moses. And so did they with the oxen. And they roasted the Passover with 5 with fire according to the ordinance. But the other holy offerings sod they in pots and in cauldrons and in pans, and divided them speedily among all the people. And afterward they made ready for themselves and for the priests, because the priests, the sons of Aaron, were busied in offering of burnt offerings and the fat until night. Therefore the Levites prepared for themselves and for the priests, the sons of Aaron. Now remember, when they had to give the offerings, they were supposed to take off the fat. God told them they were not supposed to eat of the fat. They were supposed to remove the fat, and the fat would be offered, and the blood was to be drained. Verse 15. And the singers, the sons of Asaph, were in their place according to the commandment of David. And Asaph and Heman and Jeduthun, the king's seer, and the porters waited at every gate. They might not depart from their service, for their brethren the Levites prepared for them. So all the service of the Lord was prepared the same day to keep the Passover and to offer burnt offerings upon the altar of the Lord according to the commandment of King Josiah. And the children of Israel that were present kept the Passover at that time and the feast of unleavened bread 7 days. And there was no Passover like to that kept in Israel from the days of Samuel the prophet, neither did all the kings of Israel keep such a Passover as Josiah kept. And the priests and the Levites and all Judah and Israel that were present, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So he must have gone all out if no one else had kept a Passover like him. Wow. Verse, let's see where I am. Okay, verse 19. In the 18th year of the reign of Josiah was this Passover kept. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, What have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war. For God commanded me to make haste. Forbear thee from meddling with God, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. Ooh. So apparently, the king of Egypt must have had some sort of instruction from God. I'm not sure which God. It's so amazing sometimes, because he's a pagan king. Yeah, Egypt was a pagan nation at that time. So he's saying, don't meddle with God. Apparently, it's the same God. I am so, what? God is no respecter of persons. Josiah went out to fight against him, even though the fight was not with Josiah's nation. For some reason, he decided he would go out against Necho. I'm not sure if he was an ally for Carchemish or what, but the king told him, hey, forbear, stop meddling with God's work. Let's see what happens. Verse 22. Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself that he might fight with him, and hearkened not unto the words of Necho from the mouth of God. So apparently, yeah, it was the God that gave the king of Egypt that instruction to go out and fight. Wow. And came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. And the archers shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, Have me away, for I am sore wounded. His servants therefore took him out of that chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died, and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his fathers. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah. I wonder why he even did it. The fight was not with him. Sometimes I think some people just yearned for war. I'm not sure. Why would you do that? And got himself killed. Verse 25. And Jeremiah lamented for Josiah, and all the singing men and the singing women spake of Josiah in their lamentations to this day, and made them an ordinance in Israel, and behold, they are written in the lamentations. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and his goodness, according to that which was written in the law of the Lord, and his deeds first and last, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. So he must have been a light king. He was a good king. When you're walking with God and you're doing right, God blesses you. The people see what you have accomplished. They see the peace that comes along with your reign, and they understand that you are walking with God. I don't know what happened in the end, why he decided to go out to fight against the king of Egypt, who said he had no fight with him. The fight was not his. Sometimes we have to know which battles we need to be fighting. I know there is a verse in the Bible, I think it is either Proverbs or one of those that say, don't, it's a foolish man that goes in and into a fight that's not his, that meddles in someone else's controversy, somebody else's fight. Don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, mercy. He got hurt, he got killed, and buried him. But the people mourned for him because I guess they really did like him as a king. He was a good king. That's the end of 2chronicles chapter 35. Man, we have one more chapter, and then we are going into the prophets after we have we have recounted the work of the kings. Okay, so right now all we're doing is recounting the first and second kings, that books that we have already read. That's it for today. So until our next reading, keep listening, because that's how faith comes. Take care. Bye.